the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Season 5, Episode 34, number 214. How's it going?
Good.
Fine.
Can you believe it's been 14 weeks at least? More than that since our 200th episode?
Nope.
Huh. Trying to decide how I feel about that.
I know, right?
What is time anymore?
It's been like 4 months. Anyway.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is crazy. I saw a tweet today. It was like, after everything March did to us last year, are you sure you want to give it another chance this year?
Fair point.
I don't know. Today was a lovely day here in New York.
It was a
sunny
beautiful,
and warm.
Yeah.
So, maybe March isn't so bad.
Yeah. It's giving us flowers and jewelry right now.
Yeah. Apparently I'm an easy sell. It just has to tell me I'm pretty.
Yeah. No, we've had
It is
really
feeling
nice weather
different
too.
though this March.
Yeah.
Well, in a good way.
In a good way. I think so.
Much more hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much less panicky.
Yeah. So how was everybody's week? We all humped together on Saturday night.
We all humped together, and I don't know if you saw in the outline, but I sent they emailed us the winners of Hump 2021.
Oh.
Yes, I saw.
I did not. Let me open that right now.
Some of them you might not have expected.
I didn't expect a lot of the ones. The only one of the ones that I voted for won in the category that I voted for it. But we could talk about that when we get to Hump. If you guys don't mind sharing what you voted for, I'll share who we voted for too.
I actually forgot you could vote, so I didn't vote.
Oh no!
I forgot that was a perk. So I missed my happy ending, which is kind of a bummer.
It is kind of a bummer.
Well, we could talk about who you wanted to vote for, and I can try to remember who I voted for.
There was only 4, and we only did it 3 days ago, so I still remember mine.
No, yeah.
I think. Now I'm
for the
paranoid.
most part, I do.
Now I'm paranoid. But the Hump Festival was really fun. It was
so much fun. Anyone listening, I must say, I am surprised and honestly a little bit disappointed in you that more of you did not come to play. Shout out to Tasia, who
humped with us.
Yep, Tasia was
she
a
humped
great
with
addition
us
to the chat.
Yes, I have to say there is this part in the chat where I even wanted to post it on Instagram, but I haven't gotten around to asking everyone if they're okay with that because it was just so funny, the conversation. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was towards the very end.
It was the last one about the last one.
Yeah, about the last one.
About the last
the
one.
Whole conversation.
The messages just blew up. It was so funny, but it was the whole experience was really fun, and y'all could have come and played with us, but you didn't. So just saying.
That's okay. Saying. They're just going to have to listen to us talk about it.
Right.
That's true. Could have experienced it in real life. Just
now
saying.
You're just going to have to live vicariously. Which we all know is never as much fun.
Nope.
Maybe we will encourage and inspire for next year. Because
Here's hoping.
Yeah, I will say that this was actually pretty different than I expected, even though I knew what to expect.
Same.
Nice.
Same. I totally get what you mean by that, because I very much felt the same way.
In a good way? Or in a bad way?
Yeah.
No, in a good way.
In a good way.
Okay, now I guess we have to explain it. So, I guess Amanda and I are coming from theater festival kind of backgrounds, and I thought that it would be a lot like that, only straight up porn in a way. I didn't expect it to be. Some of the ones were more poignant than other ones, and others told stories, and we had ones that, were more kind of documentary style. And then you had your straight up, kinks and fucking ones, which is what I thought it was going to be. So I was surprised at how much artsier it was than I expected it to be.
Yeah, just, and
that was
granted, nice. Oh, sorry, finish your thoughts.
I'm done. That was it.
Yeah, and granted, I haven't seen that many virtual film festivals, but just the amount of attention that went into the programming of the festival and then the order in which the films were placed.
Yeah.
There was just, there was more intention. This isn't going to sound right. Like, this is going to sound like really condescending, and I don't mean it to be, but it's like there was more planning that went into that than I think I would have thought. Like, I think I was sort of in the same line of thinking as Colleen, that it was just going to be like sex films all the way through. And I wasn't expecting the amount of diversity of types of filmmaking. You know, like the fact that there were ones that were just like straight up like documentaries, and they really weren't, they talked about sex, but there wasn't any actual sex in them. And I was like, oh, you know, I wouldn't have even thought to submit that.
Yeah. Like the Miss Chéries one about the
Miss Chérie.
Yeah, that one. Thank and the sort of StoryCorps one, the
Stephen and James, Best Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
which we actually voted for Best in Show, I think.
I loved that one.
Nice.
I thought it was so sweet.
Yeah, we did. We really liked
great.
it. And it ended with the humor, with the pastries, with the...
Yeah. No, I love how wide of a net that they cast at Hump.
Yeah. I guess we're doing this now.
Just jumping right in.
We're just jumping right in. The one that, so Amanda, the winners, best sex was Ménage à Trois. Or Shandy, why don't you announce them? Since you can pronounce them all way sexier than I can.
There were so many French titles. Did you guys notice that?
I sure did.
Yeah, Ménage à Trois was beautiful.
Yeah.
So for best sex, we voted for the lip service one.
I voted for lip service for best sex also. I thought that one was so great. I almost voted for Ménage à Trois, but
yeah, we didn't vote for that for any, and we felt kind of bad. But like in the end, the like touchingness of the Stephen and James one just kind of won out. Like just the, you know, for anybody out there, the lip service one that Shandy and I voted for best sex was about a woman commanding a man to go down on her, and then they 69, and there's voyeurism involved, and I don't know, she was a big boss lady.
Yes, instructing him, like giving him specific instructions for how to do it. It was very, very good.
It was really good.
Hey, yesterday was International Women's Day. It was a very like
on brand.
International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Movie. Yeah, no, it was great. Ménage à Trois was beautiful though.
And exactly what everybody would think. Was which? Yes. How do you pronounce it?
Ménage à Trois?
No. Best Kink.
Best Kink Lengua, which is, I'm guessing is the Spanish word.
Yeah.
It's similar in French, but not the same.
See now.
Right, because of the tacos. Got it.
Yeah.
That's why. And that's why when I saw the title, I was like, oh, I love this one. Because I was thinking of the other tongue one, which is not called tongue. It's called kiss, but in French, le baiser.
I forgot about that one.
I love it so much.
It was that one. I forgot.
Yeah. It was so quick and so also not sex, but maybe sex, but no, but just two tongues.
And out of all those films, probably took the longest to make.
Totally.
Like that,
totally.
30 seconds probably took so long with all that animation.
Yeah.
Okay,
really
so
incredible.
Beautiful. And it reminded me of like fish in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I confess to something? I don't know if I was looking down or what, but I missed when Kiss ended and the other one started, and I was very confused.
What came after Kiss? I can't even remember.
The teacher one.
Oh, yeah.
The professor one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But like
I wasn't really into that one.
I know that one was okay. It was just okay. It was kind of whatever. But when we were voting, I was like, Jay, there's one on this list that we didn't watch. I don't recognize this title at all, because I had written down all the titles as they were going just so I could know what to refer back to. And he was like, yeah, it was this one. And I was like, wait, the tongue one wasn't just an opening for the teacher one? They were two separate ones?
Yeah. Two separate ones, and then the other tongue one, actually called tongue lingua,
Yes. So this
was
one,
one best kink, and the second most difficult for me to watch.
that one was tough because of the knife in the mouth.
The knife in the mouth was not what made it tough for me.
Okay,
it didn't make it easier, but
No.
I
It was
have
more
this
just
neck
like,
thing.
oh, that is so very dangerous.
No, I have this neck thing. I think I might have had my throat slit in another life because, like, I am just like, anytime anybody gets near my neck, I'm like, please don't touch me. So, like, the knife being so close to her neck, I was like, she's gonna decapitate herself, and it's all over.
Speaking of that, I did not realize I had such an issue with choking until watching Hump. I was like, oh, I really don't. I'm really uncomfortable about choking.
I don't understand, like, in the last couple of years, or I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. It feels like that's become like a thing that people do all the time. And I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's like legitimately into that, like, okay, do it safely and like more power to you. But I just feel like it's kind of being, I don't know, incorporated as something that's like seen as normal. And then kids who are watching pornos and that's how they get their sex ed, or then thinking that's a normal part of sex, and then they're having sex like that because it's just no.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Not a
Yeah,
fan. And there were
frequency. There were several.
Yes,
and it just
there were
kept
several.
and,
Yeah,
like every single one, like sort of got my like spidey senses up, and I was like,
Totally.
oh,
even if it wasn't like an overt choking scene, it was like the hand up to the neck, just like keep your hand away from my neck.
Mhm,
Always
mhm.
like, yeah, no, just no.
I think we turned 37, guys.
I don't know.
No.
I think I've always felt that.
Yeah, I've
way.
always just
I've always been like,
yeah.
Also, like, if you like with everything else that we saw, I feel like the one thing that I'm saying is like the choking thing. Nah, I think, yeah.
No, I know.
I don't
just
think-
joking.
Rewind like 10 or 20 years, and I would have felt much the same. Although that's the thing is, like 10 or 20 years ago, like what I feel like it wasn't a thing, and I think it would have freaked me out even more.
So with this tongue one, do we want to
Yeah,
explain
let's
what
get
we're
back on
what we're
topic.
talking about and what got you, Shandy, kind of like with it? So
Are we going there? Are we going there?
We're going there.
Well, so like a beef tongue, you know, or
Yeah, like
I don't know
cow
where
tongue or
animal this came
whatever,
from. I'm
animal
guessing
tongue.
usually it's a cow tongue. They cook it, but then she's fucked with it in like both holes,
Yeah.
and then you can see what happens if you go really deep into the anus. Then
Yeah. We we watched it.
So that part, I'm not a fan of like food into the body that way.
Yeah.
And then they cooked it and put food into the body the other way through the mouth.
Through the mouth. They cooked it after they fucked. So the person that she was with, her partner, had her like bonded down, like binded down, so she couldn't move, and was fucking her with the tongues, and then cooked it and put it into a taco, and then fed her the taco.
But like also force fed her the taco because there were multiple tacos, and that's what. But it was interesting too to have her narration at the beginning of it. That's why I said like, okay, I guess like intellectually speaking, this could be interesting. It's not necessarily something I'm going to be like wanting to watch, but like she talks about like wanting to do something like this and like the shame involved with it, and like wondering what other people would think, and like when she's like gorging herself on food in private, like sort of having these thoughts of like what. So I think there are some interesting things about consumption that we could talk about in such a film, but on a practical level, not really my cup of tea.
I respect where the filmmaker was trying to go. I just personally did not want to go there with her.
Yeah,
and I'm really, really not a fan of poop or pee, of which we saw both in the festival.
Okay, the pee. So I want to talk about the pee one, but which did you like for best kink?
I'm trying to remember what I voted for.
Because I think we voted for the spanking one.
Let me get a list of the movies.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they had given like
there's a list on the website. Oh, I know, me too.
But I'm sure if we can take 1 second.
Go ahead.
Like we could just Google it because I'm sure on the website
the website definitely has a list of them, because that's when I had to look up to make sure I wasn't losing my mind that there was 2 different ones for that one I missed. I was really confused.
Oh, so wait, so it's just it's 4. So it's best sex, best kink, best humor, best in show.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I don't remember if I voted for it or not, but I liked Awaken, the mysterious woodland nymph who finds pleasure in an ancient forest.
Yes, with the Hextera song, Vapors, that you really liked.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was a really good song. And it used bubbles.
No, sorry, go ahead.
That was it. Okay. You should talk about the code words, the props that they had to use.
Oh, right.
Yes. I saw somebody on the street blowing bubbles the other day, and I was like, huh?
So it was the special items this year were bubbles, photo booths, and Carol Channing. And we had some good Carol Channing references.
Yeah, not nearly enough. I wanted more Carol Channing.
I know.
For best kink, I also, again, I don't remember exactly what I voted for, but I think Doggone Dystopia
I was
would
say
be,
we liked that one
there.
too. Yeah,
I liked that one.
Yeah.
Interesting
that there were 2 dog masks in the festival.
Yes. Is that called a Furby?
I believe it's called a furry.
Furry,
I think usually you maybe that counts too. I think of furries as like full on. But I guess she had full, because if you have the mask and also a tail, then
yeah,
right. But yeah, when I think of furry, I think of like an actual furry costume,
right?
Okay. Like a nicer version of like the Times Square animals,
yeah,
but like more sexually appealing,
right,
to someone.
You know which one I ended up liking more by the end while you're going through that, Shandy? The Snecubus one. I did not like it until we got to the payoff, and I was like, oh, it's a succubus.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole reason that it was let into the festival, but it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not a huge fan. I do I like that. I guess I like that she got her revenge in the end, but I don't really like when sex is tied into revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't look at it as revenge. I looked at it in she was the goddess, she was the fairy or whatever it is. Succubus is the demon fairy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was kind of taking advantage of him. So I didn't look at it as a revenge thing, but just haha, I had the power this whole time thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I did like her leotard, her snake leotard.
Yeah.
Thing that she was wearing.
I did like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think out of all of them, that one felt out of place. By comparison.
I don't know. I still think that the P one was.
I mean, the P one I could have 100% done without.
Only because I feel like that was just, I don't know. There was nothing really sexual or kinky about that because it wasn't, sexual. It was just, athletic
it is
peeing.
For someone.
I guess it is.
For someone,
all right, I guess it is.
It all stems from a kink, but yeah, it is more like the yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because Jay
peeing in public.
Jay was see, that's the thing. He was I don't know if I could use strange people's piss. I was you don't know what they ate or drank. I was all right, fair.
Yeah, I try not to be judgmental, but gosh, why? Why is that a thing you need?
Yeah. I liked the spanking one, but I was a little confused at the end why she thought that it was stupid.
I think because she had an emotional reaction that she wasn't expecting. And so then she felt because she literally asked for it and then ended up crying because it probably brought up
memories or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that one too.
I did like that one.
And I think that's exactly why I liked it, because it didn't go where you expected it to, and it just felt like this real human moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, what about Cock Monkey?
I think I voted for that one. That was the other animated one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the claymation one, right? That was claymation.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
claymation. I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure it was.
I think I voted for that for funniest, but I think if I could revote, I think I agree with the final exams.
We voted for final exams for the funniest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty clever.
Yeah.
It had a Carol Channing joke about her nipples.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I really like the final exams one. That one was really funny. So essentially, guys, this particular one was about this dude who was trying to study for his final exams in college, and he kept getting distracted by any little thing. So he would read about 8x 8 times or 8x equals 32 or something like benign like that, like, x equals 4, and it would just like get him turned on, and then he'd have to go like do this porn thing, and it was just really funny. It was just really just fun in general.
Yeah. It was a COVID love story between a man and his computer.
And his computer, exactly. It was really funny. The motorsexual one, Tasia was like, well, that's one way to drive a stick.
That one also like kind of makes me uncomfortable because like aesthetically I can sort of appreciate it, but I just like, what if she like fell? It just feels like
so there was a woman having sex with a car.
And just bacteria. Like, apparently I'm more of a germaphobe than I thought. Like, anytime you're bringing in something that is just not meant to be inserted, I don't know. I have concerns. I don't
know. I thought it was kind of artsy and hot. I wasn't like, I think yes. I wasn't about to go, fuck my car, but like it didn't make me uncomfortable. If that's what I'm trying to say.
It was beautifully shot, but like my brain can't help but think of the delicate biome of the vagina.
And I'm just worried that she's going to like fall down on it and go too far in and like really hurt herself.
That too.
See, yeah. I was very distracted by the fact that she looked like Lady Gaga. I still in my head when I think about that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the one with Lady Gaga in the car. So, which could be a Gaga music video. I really like the inclusive. So then the last one, Shandy, the best in show was which one again?
That was the other. It was the other French one.
Mes chéris, yeah. Which was referring to, of course, his breasts.
So, yes, this was a story of a trans man who, before he transitioned...
or like during his transition.
During his transition, he realized that the one thing that he had never done with his breasts was have titty sex. So it just kind of tells the story about like his goodbye to his boobs with... But
it was so beautiful.
It was really beautiful.
That he was talking about like, saying goodbye to them and like being sorry that he couldn't give them, the life that maybe they would have wanted, but he can't. And yeah,
it was a really beautiful story. And I would agree that would be best in show. I'm not upset by that one.
No, agreed. And I think what I particularly love about that, it's like that really did truly feel like an amateur film. Like, you wouldn't call that a high quality film. And it's just a wonderful example that you don't need a fancy camera. You don't need good lighting to tell a good story.
Yeah.
That like, so long as the story you were telling is compelling and honest, that's what really comes through. And I just sort of love that one won.
Yeah, no, that one was really good.
Yeah.
There were some, I would say, like other honorable mentions that we didn't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that I really, really liked and thought was just like beautifully done was Me, Myself, and You.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the mirror.
Yeah, which is so hard to do. Like anything with mirrors and film is like really hard. And the fact that they were able to do that in such a beautiful and like seamless way, like the filmmaking on that one is just beautiful.
Yes.
That one was great.
What other? Does anybody else have any ones that we want to talk about as kind of like honorable mentions before we get to Pop's corn?
Let's see. I'm going through. I think we've talked about honestly most of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I really liked Pup Play.
Yeah.
And how inclusive that was.
Yes. Yeah, that one was great.
So that was the one that they used sign language.
Right, right. It was I believe they were both deaf.
I think it was, the description said just one.
Just one?
I think. Shandy, do you have the description pulled up?
I do actually, and it says a hearing girl and her beloved deaf pup.
Yep, because she's reading it right there. Come on, Amanda, use your good eyes.
Well, she signs and then she does like vocalize something also, but of course you couldn't be deaf and still vocalize things. So, but yeah, no, the description says that. But that was great. One of the things I loved about that video is there's this moment too where she looks at him and she's like, "You look so hot." It was just such a nice, moment.
It was very touching. It's like they're in all this like BDM, but it was also very tender. Yeah. And it was just clearly like two people that just really love each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's, what's sexier than that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Looking down on my list, I don't know if there's anything else really that I have to say about any of them, but I definitely want to spend a minute to talk about that last one.
That's not so like literally the first time that I watched it, I think I probably had the same like reaction as you guys. The second time, it was like I knew it was coming. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I can watch this a second time.
So the premise of the last one, it was called Pop's Corn, and it was these two younger men who were, dressed all sexily. And there was this other guy that was dressed up as an older man, and it was, "What do you want to eat?" And he was like, "I want corn." And then it just cuts to this montage of rods going into pee holes of dicks, and it was all sorts of uncomfortable. And then at the very end, there's corn on it, and they've got their, each penis is a corn holder with the rod.
They sort of made like a spit.
Yeah. And then the corn is there, and they're like, "Here you go, Pop." And we were just like, oh, it's so gross and brilliant at the same time.
I don't know if I was quite too brilliant.
And like, I know that this is a thing that some people do, like putting things into your urethra, but and so I'm guessing that for these people it doesn't hurt, or it hurts in a good way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. But
yeah. Well,
again,
I think
delicate biome.
I think old married man show listeners remember a certain story with Dale and a Q-tip that is similar to this, because that was all I could think of while we were watching it. It was like, oh, Dale could be in this porno. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. By the end, I was definitely on the awful but brilliant at the same time train.
Yeah. And the fact that it was the last film, it was sort of like, that feels like a really weird note to end on. Yeah. But it's also like, what would you put after that? Like, you can't program another film after that. Like, you kind of have to be done.
Yeah.
Very true. I wonder, I'll have to look back. I don't know if the lists are still online, but I was saying, I think that this is from the people who did the butter toast one. And I think that the butter toast one was also put at the end. I'll have to look back and see if maybe that's something that they have a tendency to do.
Yeah,
like
with
really
the ridiculous
finish
ones.
with a bang.
Yeah.
With a different kind of bang.
A different kind of bang.
Woo. All right. So, thank you, Shandy, for sharing Hump with us. It was really fun to hump with you guys.
It really was. It was like a wonderful evening.
Yeah.
And I think it was so much fun because I think we had our chat and like we could all kind of be watching it together, even though we obviously weren't together. But
totally, yeah.
It was,
I loved it.
A lot of fun.
And I wonder if next year, because I mean, obviously they're going to go back to in person when they can, but I wonder if they'll continue with an online component, because I think, one of the big advantages is you can reach a much wider audience, because they go to a lot of cities around the US, but obviously not everywhere. So it would be a great way to be able to continue to watch it with friends across the country if they if they still do this format.
I don't think they
or even an abridged version of the festival online.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be great.
I if this was virtual next year, I would totally be down to watch it again.
Cool.
So, because I don't think it comes anywhere near me. I know it's gone to DC or Virginia or something, because Maggie's watched it before in person, but I don't think I don't think it's come closer than that to me. But I really did enjoy.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to think if it's even come to New York.
I'm sure.
It's come to New York.
It's gone to Missoula, Montana.
Maybe these cities have to petition for Hump to come to them.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, because it probably getting the venue is probably different than getting the venue for a nature documentary film festival,
right? Or any other film festival,
right? But you would think that New York would have many options and an open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously they're headquartered in Seattle, so geography might play a role. But I know that they do go to all four corners of the U.S. But it does seem kind of like maybe there's more of a concentration in the West. But I don't know. Maybe I could be making that up.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, cool. Good chat. And here I thought we were going to open up the show and be like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. We didn't have any foreplay. We just went right to it. I appreciated that.
Just went right to it. Like some of these
jumped right in. Dived right in.
Yesterday I watched Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, you did!
So good.
It was great. It was really great. Yeah, I laughed and I literally cried also at the end.
It's such a great movie.
Nice.
I'm really glad that you liked it. Yay!
Yeah.
It is a perfect rom-com.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really hit the spot. And it was funny because I don't know if you guys have watched any of either of Ali Wong's comedy specials on Netflix.
I've seen the first one.
Okay. There were a couple of times in the movie where you could see her comedy persona.
Yeah.
Like the way that she talks in that. There are a couple, and that was kind of delightful. I liked it.
Yeah.
Whatever, she's supposed to be playing a different character, but I don't care.
Well, speaking of, that's funny you should say that. We saw Raya and the Last Dragon this weekend, which is the new Disney movie. And Awkwafina plays the Last Dragon, and she just plays her same Awkwafina character. But it's a great movie. It's out on Disney Plus. Definitely check it out. I mean, it's definitely worth it if you want to check it out. We really liked it. The boys really liked it. It's female character centric. Everybody's really great. The story is great. I cried at the end, which is like any good Disney movie. I totally recommend checking it out if you are looking for something to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good times. Yeah. But all right, on that note, let's take a quick break and we can come back because I think we're about to have a pretty big discussion, or I think we're about to have a little talk about the royal family. So
oh boy,
we got a lot of feedback about it. So let's go to break and we will be back in just a minute. All right, we are back, and I don't remember if I asked you guys this earlier, but how is it going, Amanda? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm fine. I've some sort of limb that perpetually lives up in my rib cage just south of my boobs, but otherwise I'm fine.
Okay.
Otherwise I'm fine.
All right.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Literally.
Yes. Absolutely. Ooh, are you going to give us a belly shot?
Oh, I could, but I was more just adjusting again because
I thought you were like showing
the limbs in the rib
right
cage.
here.
Sometimes that helps to just like if I moved, sometimes they'll move.
Yeah.
Yeah. This morning, I think there was a little bit of like fist bumping happening. That's always kind of a trip when they're like really big motions that like you can see and feel.
Yeah.
And especially when they're very concentrated like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it was just like
it was partying
little raising the roof.
Well, don't forget, it's got your heartbeat, which is like its own personal, like in-house, DJ beats. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Club Uterus.
Club Uterus.
Episode title.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Amazing. Oh, good times. Shandy, how are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Nothing in particular to report, except for all of the things that, have been viewed recently. So we've covered it. I'm good.
All right. Well, cool. Let's see. We've got a bunch of feedback that we should probably get into. Let's see. Okay, the first bit of feedback is from Mandy. And she said, I finished Ginny and Georgia this week. Meh. This is about the Netflix show that we talked about last week. Thought it would be better. Firefly Lane is based on a book, which is so good. I started the show a day after finishing the book and had to stop on episode 2. The two are so different. I need more time before going back to the show. And then Aaron followed up with, if you're looking for light and fluffy, Firefly Lane is not it. There's some very heavy stuff in it, and these women are not okay. I'm on episode 4, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going. I really want to like it, but it's just missing the mark for me. Also, episode 3 of Ginny and Georgia, and I'm feeling the same way. I said it feels way more sexualized, and it's trying too hard to be Gilmore Girls. I like the daughter, but the mom just isn't relatable. All right, yeah. Shandy, did you watch any more of that?
7 episodes in now, and I kind of like I just have to finish it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those. Like,
yeah.
It's like whether or not you enjoy it sort of is beyond the point. It's just like you need to know how it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that all sounds very
accurate.
Accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Sherry said he wants Trader Joe's to pick up the truffle oil and truffle dry seasoning you talked about their Christmas seasonal items.
What? Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Kind of makes sense.
Ran out of that truffle dry powder. Oh, it's seasonal. Damn.
Well, now you know. At the end of this year, stock up.
Stock up.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, kind of like how the peppermint coffee at Target went on sale on clearance, and I bought like 5 of those puppies. I was like, I'm not going to get this again until December.
Smart.
Or I guess October. Or maybe August, depending on how early Christmas season starts.
Yeah, right. They start stocking those Christmas shelves earlier and earlier.
But I don't like flavored coffee, but they're the peppermint coffee from, what is it, Good and Gather or whatever the fuck it is really good, actually. It's like...
No, that's fair. I mean, everybody else can be clamoring about their pumpkin spice lattes, but man, give me a peppermint mocha.
Oh God, yes. Have you ever treated yourself and done the white peppermint mocha?
Not since college.
Oh God, I still do that once in a while.
Oh, that's your sugar intake for a week, but well,
it truly
worth
is.
It.
It truly is. You know when it's really great? At the beginning of dry January, when that sugar's from the alcohol you're not getting anymore.
Right. It fills the void like no other.
And yes, it does. I speak from experience. I'm like, there's my fix of sugar for the day. Desiree says, I'm screaming at the podcast right now. You guys are killing me. I knew somebody was. This was about the vaccines that we talked about last week. I have a degree in public health. Diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, whooping cough, is in the DTaP, right? TDAP.
Yeah.
DTaP. Okay, TDAP. Okay. Well, man, whatever. We still vaccinate against polio. It's been eradicated in Africa, one of the last regions. But there is still some naturally occurring polio in Pakistan and Afghanistan. I could talk all day about vaccines. This is my jam. If anybody's interested, she shares the recommended vaccine schedule for children, which is on the CDC's website and our Facebook page.
Nice. But wait, so like they still vaccinate against polio, sure, but like not in the U.S., right?
It doesn't sound like they still do it in the U.S.
Like,
I mean, I guess I
get
could just click on this link that she sent us.
Yeah, you know what?
I thought we did get, like, as a little kid.
Well, maybe I simply don't remember it because obviously, but let's see.
Yeah, Amanda, you're going to pay attention, like, to the vaccines for the first 6 months, and then you're just going to be like, whatever, just tell me what comes next.
Right. Exactly.
All right,
maybe
I
that's
stand
just
corrected.
me. Maybe I'm a terrible parent.
No. I mean, look at the names of these things. How are you supposed to remember what any of these things are for?
Exactly. But
apparently you get your first dose of inactivated polio virus at 2 months old. So my mother is not a crazy anti-vaxxer, so I did indeed get vaccinated against polio. Who knew?
There you go. I don't see where you're looking whatsoever.
I don't either,
I don't
actually.
either. I believe you.
So birth to 15 months. And you see all the ones.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yep. I
And then
see
you
it.
get a second dose at 4 months.
Yep.
And then you even get a third dose.
Okay.
Sometimes between 6 months and 15 months.
Yep,
So,
I
there you
see
go.
it. Inactivated polio virus. There we go.
Well, shit. Thank you, Des.
Wait,
I was convinced that we didn't.
I still do. Oh, wait.
How did McConnell get polio then?
Well, he's old. He's 80
Right,
years
because they
old.
weren't doing it at that point.
That's how. He also has no soul, so there's a very good chance that the vaccine probably had nothing to latch onto. I don't know.
Yeah. He also could have come from an anti-vax family, although that wasn't in vogue.
Yeah, no, I think people got vaccinated. That's more of a shitty.
It's more of a modern stupidity. Yeah.
Is that a Gen X thing? Or a rich Gen X thing? There's a lot of wealthy people in. It's a Jenny McCarthy thing. I know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Have we finally found the one thing we can blame Gen X on?
Sure, let's do it. You know what? No one ever gives them any flack.
Yeah, right?
It's true. That's true.
We take all the
They
heat.
do kind of just get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the latchkey kids. They've been forgotten about their whole lives. They're slipping through without a pass here.
With their laissez-faire, not caring. Their Winona Riders. And their anti-vaxxers.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's right. That's it. I'm blaming Gen X.
Yep.
The anti-vax movement. Don't come at me, Gen X, please. Every boomer listening to this show right now is really excited. They're like, finally! They're not blaming me for something. Good times. Yeah, may look over this later. See what my kids have gotten. I mean, I do get, every time we get a vaccination, they give you the updated records so you can give it to your school or whatever, because, you need to provide the updated vax stuff to the schools. But
Right.
anyway, all right. Thank you, Des, very much. We appreciate that. We learned something new, and now I'm going to put this in my book. Actually, you know what? I swear to God, I actually think I have. I guarantee you, I have a book in my bookmarks, the vaccination schedule that has been here in my bookmarks for 7 years. I guarantee that it's in here somewhere. Yep, there it is. There it is.
Nice. Well done.
Vaccine schedule, and I'm pretty sure it's the same one that Desiree sent us. No, it's not. It's from some vaccine.schedule.ecdc. It's a European one. Okay, not sure why I have the .eu vax schedule and not the CDC one.
How very cosmopolitan of you.
Seriously, that's very millennial of me to get the wrong vaccine schedule, to bookmark it, and then forget that I have it for 6 years.
Because to be fair, hopefully, I mean, it should be about the same, right?
I'm assuming so.
One would think.
I'm assuming so. Anyway, thank you, Des. We appreciate it. Let's see. The next bit of feedback. Is from Rose. Saw this posted by a friend of mine. Thought it would make a good start of a convo for the broadcast. Surround yourself with women who would mention your name in a room full of opportunities.
Oh, I like that.
I love that. I love that. I'm trying to think if there's anything profound that I can say about that, but it's just very true.
It's just a true statement.
Amen. We are not each other's enemies. No. There's room for all of us. Just saying. All right, let's get into the That's What She Said.
That happened very fast and very slow, all at the same time.
I didn't know what to do with it, so I just slid it there.
You can only go so far down.
So that's what I was thinking when I was watching the motorsexual one.
Yeah, same.
Towards the end of March, I'll get my second one.
I was sore that night.
I have no idea when it will be for him.
It will help to have a third one out there.
They're talking a big frame, but they're still getting jammed.
Daniel needs to get it. That's very Sex in the City of me to say. Moving on. This is getting awkward now.
I have seen people do that.
Speaking of self-cleaning genitalia.
Were we talking about
That feels
cats?
very Sex in the City.
I think we were talking about cats or animals, right? Maybe?
I have no idea.
We were talking about that movie thing, the movie tropes.
Yes, because the women don't clean up after sex.
Right.
Ah, right.
That's right. How funny of me. Of us. I don't know if I said it or not. It just sounds like something I would say. 7 minutes and I'm done.
I'm air stroking you now.
Ooh, oh my. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
I've got time to keep it in, sure.
Would you like to hump on March 6th?
It's on my calendar.
I don't know how we go on to that.
I might be humping alone.
Oh,
Humping by myself.
I keep humping.
Oh, that reminds me of the song.
Oh.
Dancing with myself. Do you know, I did not know that song was about masturbation until it was in Glee. And I was watching that episode and Jay was like, that song's about jerking off, right? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that song's about masturbation. And I was like, oh.
I didn't know that it was about masturbation until right now.
Oh, yeah, dancing with myself.
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So many things. Like so many things. All right, we're going to move into the email voicemails. The first one actually ties in with a bit of feedback that we had from Mandy, who had requested over Twitter on Sunday that we talk about the Harry and Meghan interview. And did you all watch it? I know Amanda watched it. Shandy, did you ever get a chance to watch it?
No, not yet, unfortunately, but I did read some of the commentary about it.
Okay, so you'll be Okay. We should definitely talk about it.
Top 10 takeaways of the Meghan and Harry interview. That kind of thing. Okay,
so we've got an email from Amanda's mom, and then we can talk a little bit about our thoughts on the interview, because I thought it was spectacular. But first let's start with an email from Mama G, Amanda's mom, and we'll talk about what we thought about the interview.
All right, so Mama G wrote in, "Hello, my lovely broads. I loved the job Oprah did on the Harry and Meghan interview Sunday night. It felt more like they were just having a conversation as friends, not an interview. Oprah was flawless in her questions and ability to smoothly move on when they chose to not answer something. My issue today is the incredibly obnoxious way that the press, particularly the British press, have responded to it all. Piers Morgan is a pompous ass, and I'm glad he lost his job over his incredibly nasty comments today. What are your thoughts, ladies? Love you all, Mama G."
Oh, we love you too.
Oh, right back at you.
And honestly, I thought Piers Morgan should have been fired, like, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's basically proven himself to be a shitty human being at every opportunity.
Yeah, he's such a piece of shit.
Awful.
I thought the interview was great.
Yeah, it was like a good reminder of like
how Oprah is the bomb.
How Oprah is the bomb, but also that like destination television and a sit-down interview can still captivate the public. That in this world of streaming and a million, everybody having a streaming platform, the fact that so many people all over the world tuned in to watch this interview at this specific time on broadcast television.
Yeah.
I think in and of itself was pretty cool, outside of the fact that it was just really well done. And just like Oprah is just in a league of her own when it comes to that format.
I know. She's so
long
good.
form interview.
I was one of those people. I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched something live on TV. I probably Survivor. And I thought it was great. I truly did. I'm also a really big fan of Meghan and Harry, and I want them to do well. And I've followed them, a bit over the past few years. I mean, I don't follow celebrity gossip as much as like I used to, particularly in the last year because I'm not at my office. So like I'm doing other things during my downtime at work, which, sounds whatever, but it's true. But like a lot of the stories and much like when we were watching the Britney documentary, which by the way, Oprah, can you do Britney next? Because
please do Britney next.
Yeah. The second that she gets out of that conservatorship, if it ever happens, you need to do Britney.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But just like that, I remembered a lot of and knew a lot of the stuff that they were talking about that was referenced to stories and things that they were asked. Like I was hoping that, several things. A, Diana got the last word because it wasn't like, all of her words in her interview that she did like 30 years ago. They aged really well. Like so many times,
right.
Like, oh, this
right.
aged poorly. And you're like, oh shit. Like that aged really well. But it's just incredible. Like I thought it was going to be filled with sort of like gossip worthy stuff, like Meghan setting the story straight on the who made who cry with that famous story about that she allegedly made the Duchess of Cambridge cry, and apparently it was the other way around, and that was one of the things that kind of kicked it off. Them deciding to leave, and the hell that they went through was because the royal family and nobody would set their record straight, and they all knew that Meghan never made Kate cry. Kate made Meghan cry, and it was like, why aren't you standing up? And then she talks about the mental issues that she went through, and she wanted to commit suicide, and she went to the people at the palace, and they were basically like, suck it up, Buttercup, what you signed up for. And she was afraid to be left alone. And so I thought it was going to be that stuff, the Kate stuff, like that kind of gossip. And then we went into the mental health stuff. And I was like, okay, well, this tracks because they're big on, mental health and whatnot. And then we went into just the full on, like, spilling all the tea on the concerns about baby Archie's skin color. Is he going to be too dark?
Yeah,
and
that's so
because there were stories that came out, when it was announced that he was not going to be given a title, and they did make it sound like it was Harry and Meghan's decision, and how dare they like throw it in the Queen's face to not get a title. They were like, no, they decided that the first royal of color was not going to have a title, and he was not going to be given protection. And I mean, it got heavy, and Oprah is so great with her ability to press people and her reactions to make them feel like, affirmative, like, okay, you can keep telling this because I'm reacting in a way that it's like, I'm welcome you to say more. And they didn't share things they didn't want to share. They, clearly they had the opportunity to tell their story. And I thought that it was just really a powerful interview. And it also goes to show, sometimes what you see whether it's something reported on in the press or the public persona that's being put out there, no idea what's going on behind the scenes in other people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just found it very, very informative because I think, I wasn't as clued in to what exactly was going on. So part of me was a little skeptical coming into it. Mm-hmm. And I think particularly like the first couple of questions, you're like, and now it's like when you take it in as a big picture, it was really just kind of getting into it. But some of it was just like, like, why are they doing this? Like, what PR person told them that like this was a good idea to like sit down and talk to Oprah? And what's the ulterior motives? But as it's like as you really got to the meat of what it was that they were talking about, it's like, how could you even accuse someone of making that up?
Yeah.
It's just so gross and so big that it's just.
Yeah.
And it takes such courage to admit that.
Yeah.
To come out with such really damning information about this hundreds of years old institution.
And none of it's surprising because clearly they're still living in hundreds of years ago land. Yeah. Like she was right. They were right. They had a wonderful opportunity to bring the monarchy into the modern times by embracing the first mixed race, member of it, being like, look, it just profoundly ridiculous. I don't even know the right word. That
right. Well, and it's like in the royal family always says that's like, we want to move into the modern age. William and Harry are going to do that, but it's like on their terms.
Yeah.
That it's like, still the conservative side of modern. And
I think it's also that same thing that we've always talked about with the racism and the wanting to make sure that you're the more powerful person. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that so Oprah went out of her way to say that the person that was concerned about the baby's how dark his skin would be when he was born was not the Queen or Prince Philip. And Harry mentioned in the interview that, and I think this was a deleted scene actually, that the Queen was not being given that a little. How did he word? He said just a little bit of behind the scenes information about the way that the palace is run. You have the family, you have the institution. The institution is run by people behind the scenes, and they give advice to people like my grandmother. And I feel that she has not been getting good advice for years now. Which, there's always been rumors that the issue was the Prince Charles, Prince William, the Duchess of Cambridge were all jealous of Harry and Meghan being popular, especially after that first tour. And the royal courtiers, how do you say it? The press secretaries and the people that worked for the palace were used to not having to do any work, essentially, because it was pretty, like William and Kate are allegedly very lazy and they do their work and then they just disappear for weeks on end, and their people are used to not doing any work. And then Meghan comes along and she's like, okay, who are we helping today? Like, what are we doing? And just having to actually do a job that they were hired to do every day made people really dislike her. And that's kind of where a lot of the problems started, where there was a mixture of the jealousy from the senior royals and the people that worked for them not liking the fact that they had to do work. And it was just a perfect storm of people just, a free-for-all of leaking shit because they didn't like them. And that was just all rumors behind the scenes. I did a little bit of, I've paid attention over the last few years to it, but did an actual deep dive yesterday to kind of figure out what all the accusations meant.
Well, and that's all absolutely logical.
Yeah, right?
Like, nothing you just said was like, oh, well, I don't know. That sounds like, media fodder to me. That doesn't sound, you know,
right,
based in truth at all. Like,
right, especially
completely plausible.
So I was talking to my coworker, and she was like, "I'm really happy to hear that Kate apologized and sent her flowers after she made her cry." And I was like, "Yeah, that's great." Except 7 months later, when this story came out, and she didn't say a word. She didn't have to say, "Hey, I made her cry." All she had to do was say, "This story is false. Meghan never made me cry," and she sat there on her ass and didn't say a word.
Right, and didn't do anything.
So really, I mean, that's pretty telling that their camp is leaking something, or at the very least encouraging their staff to leak. Like, you know, I don't know. To me, it just seems a little sketchy. Like, you don't get any brownie points if you don't follow through with the... Like,
right.
Again,
if you just do the bare minimum of what it takes to be like a decent human being...
Right. Again,
you do the bare minimum in private, and then
right.
You're absolutely nothing in public.
Right. You're the fucking future queen. Like, at any point, you can release a statement and be like, "She didn't make me cry. End of story." Right.
Right. Yeah. It's like, this is done. We're done talking about this. This is what happens.
Right. But clearly, she enjoyed I'm the victim of the aggressive Black American woman's mean, she wants my daughter to wear tights, or whatever the fucking first story was. Wasn't that the first story? Was they were fighting over whether or not Princess Charlotte should wear tights with the bridesmaid dresses, where Meghan wanted her to wear tights, but Kate didn't want her to wear tights. And because she was 3 weeks postpartum with baby Louis, she was hormonal, so she cried over it. That was kind of the first story. And then the story...
That doesn't even sound plausible that a British woman would say no to tights.
I know, right? And then the story switched. But then the story switched to, it was something over the dresses. And then it switched again. And like, it was one of those things where, you know, it pretty much like the story kept changing to keep it in the spotlight. You know, it just wasn't going to like let it die. But I don't know. I personally think that the person that was concerned about the baby's skin tone was either Charles William or drunk Camilla.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there is a huge rift there. And, you know, I respect that, you know, Harry tried to be as protective as he felt like he should be.
Yeah. And he was right, because he saw history firsthand. Why would you want to doom your family to that?
Yeah.
Do you think he came off really well in it? Because I thought he came off really well when he spoke about doing the work.
Yeah.
And getting over his privilege. Because he has a bit of a problematic history, which when you think about his upbringing and his lack of exposure at first, putting in the work and realizing... Like, again, like we talked about over the last few weeks, like, all we can hope for is people that don't grow up, you know, woke, for lack of a better term, realizes it and puts in the work and you know, kind of.
Yeah. I think it felt really honest.
Yeah.
And call me crazy, but like, I just really respect someone in that position that can say, you know, I didn't know things, so I learned, and now I'm working to be better. And I think for whatever reason in society, that is a very hard thing for anyone in the public eye to admit, that they didn't know something or that they did something wrong, and to like accept that and explain how they're moving forward. And I can just never understand like why people that's just the logical, to me, that's just the logical way to approach these things. So I really respected how honest and genuine he seemed.
Yeah. So that's the difference, people out there. That's the nuance that we always talk about when it's like the whataboutism. Well, so-and-so used to dress like a Nazi for Halloween. And it's like, yes, but the clear difference between Meghan McCain dressing like a Nazi for Halloween and Prince Harry, not that she ever did, Prince Harry dressing like a Nazi for Halloween, is one of them is actually trying to be better, and the other one is just trying to cry about Dr. Seuss being canceled. So really, there's always nuance.
Right, because it's just not realistic to be like, oh, well, I've never done anything wrong ever, and I've always known how to handle these difficult things. It's like, no, No, none of us have. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
We've all done something wrong, insensitive, unkind at some point in your life. It's about taking accountability and learning why what you did was wrong so that you don't do it again in the future.
Exactly.
It's just common sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a great interview. If anybody else has any feedback they want to send in about it, I'm happy to talk about it again. The broadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. If you haven't watched it yet, it is really worth a watch. Like, it's a pretty quick 2 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm doing after we finish recording. Side note, where can I find it? I've been looking on YouTube and I see a video
Paramount
for 45
Plus.
minutes, but you said it's...
Yeah, or you still might be able to find it on CBS's website.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
I streamed it through Paramount Plus, which is what CBS All Access used to be. It changed into...
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the whole Viacom-CBS merger.
Yeah, which was very confusing when I was trying to find it. I missed the first 4 or 5 minutes of the interview because I was like, where the fuck is my All Access?
Yeah.
I see a video on CBS for an hour and 25 minutes.
That's probably close to it.
Yeah, because when you
Because
factor
they were
in commercial
commercials,
breaks,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Know what I'm doing after we finish.
Yeah, it's a really good interview. I think
It really is.
Yeah.
Oprah is a master.
She's so good. I don't
She's
understand.
is just a master at her craft. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot how much I missed.
Yeah.
The
No, it's been so long.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen her do
Anything.
I never really watched her show very much, but it's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
seen her in action. So
Yeah.
Then we watched the recap of, her with Gail and friends the next morning.
So you saw the secret scene or the cut scenes too?
So yeah, some of it. I mean, we watched it on the app, after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it on blogs, like broken up into minute-long clips. So I'm sure I didn't get all of it, but I think I got the gist of the extra scenes, the important ones at least.
Right.
Yeah. All right, cool. Moving on. Feedback, yay. All right, next up we have an email from Joanne.
We do, and the title of it is called Mansplaining. My favorite mansplaining episode for me was on the golf course. I was playing on my own and caught up with the guy in front of me, so we decided to play the rest of the holes together. So someone I had never met before. He promptly explains to me how to chip the ball. This is when you are close to the green, but not on the green for a putt. I hope I am saying this correctly, not being a golf person myself. I listened politely. We got to the next hole, and I had to make a chip, which I probably did, and got the ball right near the hole. He proudly exclaimed, "I guess my pointers helped."
Oh my God. What a douchebag.
I then had to explain that actually chipping is one of my strengths, and I had learned and used a technique from lessons I took a few years back. What made this a full-blown mansplaining incident is that he then promptly said that my technique was pretty much the same as what he was explaining to me, which it actually was not. Fortunately, the rest of the game went on without incident. By the way, I have been pleasantly surprised at the number of times I have ended up playing with strangers and almost always having good experiences. And then this next bitch for Shandy. I am also working my way through the Obama book. Interesting, especially as I was reading the section about the Recovery Act from when Obama came into office at the time the Senate was voting on Biden's plan. Oh, yeah, that is interesting timing to be reading. Yeah, because anyway, typically a 700-page memoir includes hundreds of pages of notes, but he stated right up front that he hated footnotes. So it is a 700-page read.
So it's essentially an Obama speech in book form.
Currently 300 pages in. Having read Michelle's book, there is some interesting overlap and insight that mesh together from the two books and perspectives. And it is clear that Barack is the policy wonk his public persona showed him to be. Joanne.
Yeah, totally. She's a little bit ahead of me. There are days when I don't read it, but I'm like maybe 250 pages in. But I had the same thought. Like, I'm really glad that I read Michelle Obama's book a couple of years ago, and it's really interesting to see some of the events that they both talk about, like their relationship and some other things, even just like the decision to run for president.
Yeah.
So I think they're really good companion pieces, definitely. But his is most certainly more focused on policy, politics, all of that stuff in 700 pages.
So it's not a light read, is what you're saying. It's not really
not a light read.
It's not like a summer beach read.
Definitely not. Yeah. But very interesting. I would recommend it.
Awesome.
Nice. And I had forgotten that we had asked people for mansplaining stories. So
yes.
Thanks, Joanne, for heeding the call.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, we're actually going to finish up this show with a voicemail from Dez and Astrid. So here we go.
Hey, Amanda, Sandy, and Colleen. This is Astrid.
And Dez. We finally caught up on the podcast, so we can leave feedback before the next episode gets recorded, which is great. So there were so many things over the past several episodes I wanted to comment on, but I can't remember any of them because, it take me so long to listen. But I was going to comment a little bit on the Richard Scarry books. How do you feel about Richard Scarry books?
Oh, I like those.
Yes, she loves Richard Scarry books. We have some leftover ones from when Gavin was little. Gavin, of course, is 21 right now, so I think they're mostly from the late 80s and 90s, actually. They're not current.
Those Scarry books are not Disney.
The Richard Scarry books are not Disney, no.
They're just Busy Town Main Street.
She loves Busy Town Main Street. It's one of her favorites. I actually looked up Richard Scarry because his books, especially the ones like when Gavin and Skylar were younger and later, have the animals dressed very alpine, lederhosen. So I was like, why does his characters dress like that so often? It's kind of strange. I looked him up, and apparently, he was born in 1919 or something like that, and in the 70s, after he and his wife were working in children's books, they bought a chalet in the Swiss Alps or something like that, and so they lived there, and so he put a lot of that into his books. But also in the 80s, they republished a lot of his earlier books with less gender stereotypes. They took out a lot of the racism. They also took out some of the cultural and religious things, they put a menorah in Christmas scenes, and they didn't have necessarily mom cooking and whatever. Although some some of the ones that we have even from Gavin when he was younger still have a little bit of those gender stereotypes, but they're not as bad because you do see a lot of female characters in the kitchen, but you also see a lot of female characters building stuff with wood, like the male characters, and driving things like steamroller and dump trucks. So he was still alive at this time. He died, I think, in 94. So I'm guessing, he had some say in changing that and doing better. So Richard Scarry, not as terrible as you think. He was definitely from an era where people thought that kind of stuff was okay, but he did make changes to his work later, or changes were made to his work later to reflect updated times. So, yeah. So we'll still read them. We don't have any of the ones with the actual racist stuff in it, thank goodness. We just have ones with little tiny bit of gender stereotypes, but not as bad as they used to be. So that's something. But
I was going to pause this and say, so I think she's trying to say that Richard Scarry is the Prince Harry of Dr. Seuss.
I think that's fair.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to pause it. But that joke wouldn't have been good in 4 minutes when this is over. So
You got to get those jokes while they're fresh.
going back. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, so Richard Scarry, he's okay. He's all right. Are there any other authors you really like? Which authors? Which books do you really like?
I like Disney books.
Yes, you like Disney books. Yeah, is that it? You have about 500 books.
I have 500.
You do. She has a huge shelf in the dining room. She has a shelf in the living room, and she has a shelf in her room, and they're all full of books. So, but
I don't
really,
have a shelf in my room.
you do have a shelf. Well, you don't have a shelf in your room right now because you kept moving the shelves around, so I took the shelves out. You have a bunch of books on your floor, right? Yes. This girl loves books.
The cat.
The cat's trying to climb up the back of the couch to get her hair. Anyways, so yeah, we really didn't have a whole lot to say. It's funny you guys are talking about Richard Scarry because, like, literally I just looked him up a few months ago because I was just so, it was so weird about how his characters, like, these days have, the lederhosen and stuff. So, so I looked at that, and there's a lot more like goats and stuff now. I don't know. It's very alpine-y, but I just thought that was hilarious. Also, I want to say I am very excited that Amanda and Shandy are getting vaccinated. I am so happy for you two. It's who knows how long it's going to be till I get vaccinated. The state of Florida, of course, we prioritize those over 65. I'm fine with that, but it's Florida. Most of our population is over 65, so it's taking forever. And they actually added teachers over the age of 50 and first responders and police officers and everything over the age of 50. 3 days later, after outcry, they changed it to teachers of any age because, of course, all the teachers need to be vaccinated. We can't wait. You've got schools of them. We can't wait for you to go through decade by decade for teachers. So anyway, so all teachers are allowed to be vaccinated now. And it's still, I think, over 50 for first responders and police officers. And then they just lowered it to ages 60 and up. So at the rate we're going, it's going to be like, sometime in the fall before they get down to my age. But I'm just holding on here, waiting. My parents are both vaccinated, so that's a real load off my mind. Skylar's husband works in a mental health facility, a long-term care facility for children, and so he was able to get vaccinated. So that's something. Just waiting for them to get those kids vaccinated too. You really can't get herd immunity if a majority of your population is not vaccinated. And children, there are too many of our population for that to work. Children have to be vaccinated in order to get herd immunity. So it's going to be after that before we can safely resume normal. There'll be enough people vaccinated where we can shut this disease down. So yeah, waiting for that day.
Wig wag, wig wag, wig wag.
Wig wag, wig wag, yep. So anyways, this is long, but we were bored, and we just wanted to chat, and and we miss talking to you guys, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay, you have anything else to say before we go?
No.
No? Okay, I don't think I do either. All right, love you guys, love the show.
Love you guys, love the show.
Bye.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie, bye.
Okie dokie, bye.
Okie dokie, artichokey.
Well, that just made my night.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Astrid's the best. So is Dez.
She's so great.
But Astrid's really great.
500 books. Astrid, what a lucky girl you are to have such a library.
Seriously. That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the email, for the voicemail. We appreciate it. And the information on Richard Scarry.
That was fascinating.
Yeah, it was actually. We clearly do not have the re-released books. I mean, unless what we... no, we don't have the re-released books. Because we were talking about the Main Street one. I'm like, that page is awful. But I guess if you don't see that, because I know exactly what page you're talking about, but if you don't see it, then yeah. Okay, maybe I will secretly replace, or not so secretly, but I'll just straight up replace Zach's old Richard Scarry books with new Richard Scarry books, which if you think about it, right, with the free market and blah, 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 having parents like me whose kids like the books but don't want to expose them to the old books, then having to go purchase another copy of the new books is pretty smart, too. It's good business.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I guess,
Sometimes capitalism can work, I guess.
Yeah. I guess back in the 90s, though, Fox News did not care about Richard Scarry canceling Richard Scarry, so...
Well, because cancel culture wasn't a thing then. Because the Republicans were in charge.
Newt Gingrich was, that was like phase 5 or 6. He was still in phase 1 back in the mid-90s.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man. Anyone named Newt.
Yeah.
Can't trust a man named Newt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Mitch's hands were still like, fleshy colored back in the 90s. So really, it was a long time ago.
He hadn't completed all his Horcruxes yet.
Oh, I'm going to pee my pants. I am not sitting right to laugh like this. Hold on. I'm going to Liz. No. But yeah, I bet you Newt was helping him with the Horcruxes. That was his Nagini. Thank you, Dez. We appreciate it. On that note, we're going to wrap up the show for now. Thank you to everybody that contributed feedback. We appreciate it. If you'd like to do feedback for us, do feedback. If you'd like to contribute any feedback, we love feedback. Thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. We've also been talking about maybe reviving our Instagram account a little bit better. So if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, The Broadcasters3 on Instagram, and we're very rarely on Twitter, but we are The Broadcast 3 on Twitter, and some days we are pretty good at it. Not really. Once in a while I tweet things. We are going to actually, and we'll start soliciting feedback now, but on Tuesday, April 6th, we are going to record our annual crossover show with the Real Weird Sisters. So if anybody has any feedback for us or them for that show, we're anticipating probably talking to them long enough. Feedback, pending, of course, the more feedback we get, that we can hopefully make it a 2-parter like it's been in the past. And please, send us your feedback for that, though. And you can also email them as well. And they are realweirdSisters@gmail.com. You can send us your feedback for that. We love talking to Alice and Martha, so looking forward to doing that. So set it on your calendars. We also are probably going to be live for the patrons in a couple of weeks, probably towards the end of March. Maybe we'll just be live for anybody that wants to be. And that might be the last live show we do. We might not do one in April, pending Amanda's new arrival. So we'll see about that. But maybe we can do March 23rd or 30th for that one. Let's do the 30th. We'll do a live show on the 30th. And then that way the following week we'll do Alice and Martha, because what we record with Alice and Martha won't be a live show for that week, since we'll hold off to whenever you're on your leave. So yeah, we'll do that. So mark that down on your Zoom calendars or whatever. Anyway, all right. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you to the patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/jandjack or go to jandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link at the top right-hand corner of the page. We always appreciate that. All right, though. Thanks, everybody, though. We appreciate it. And thanks for listening. I really have completely lost my train of thought. I have no idea where I'm going with this. So I'm just going to say, on that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
I'm Shandy.
Thank you to the patrons that contribute at a certain level, and that would be Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richter, Maggie the Magnificent, Greg the Grey, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed the Creepy Mailman. Now, on that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is still Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I just realized that there's a heater on behind me. I don't know how loud that's going to be on the recording.
Yeah, well, we'll figure.
It's like one of those space heaters because our actual heater shit the bed, and we're waiting on the part to come in.
Pants better.
Space heater, shit the pants.
Shit the pants.
Ugh. Too good. Can't deal with pants pooping jokes ever.
Too much. Poop just really grosses me out. Obviously, that's not like a novel concept.
That was the one thing I meant to say is I really, I think I said it in the chat, is I super appreciated the no poop roll after I saw the athletic peeing one.
Yeah.
But like, I just couldn't like the peeing thing. And then the only other thing I could think of was like, where are the pee tapes? This is not the tape I was promised.
Right. So then it took you down a rabbit hole you perhaps didn't necessarily want to rehash.
Yeah, then I was like, is this the pee tape that we deserve?
This is the tape we deserve, apparently. It's the only one we're getting.